All right, welcome back. Another great video for you today. You know, it's around that time in filming this video that we're getting close to the holidays, and we have a lot of side dishes. I mean, sides are everything in the holidays, as you well know. And this could be, you know, an everyday or every weekend type of dish, or you could use it as a side, but it's very versatile and very simple. We're going to be doing roasted red potatoes today. I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that are going to create the most amazing flavor, okay? So again, very simple, very versatile. Could be a breakfast potato, could be a side for the holidays, whatever you want. They are delicious. Let's get going. First thing we're gonna do, you need to get a pot, any size pot, any kind of pot. Well, I've got my cast iron, which I love. And what we're gonna do to start with is we're gonna put some, well, let's start with our potatoes. What I have is some red bliss potato that I've cut into quarters, okay, just like little wedges, all right? And so what we want to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this water, drain the water right in there, and then I have some extra water here, so it's about a quarter of the way. We'll get the burner on. Now, we could, so we could just put the get this up to a boil, and then we could get the potatoes in there, and you know, blah blah blah, parboil them, do whatever you want after that. No. We got to have some massive flavor. Okay, so what we're gonna do? Here's a little trick for you. Two things. Within this water, we're also going to be putting some beef stock, all right, or beef broth, whatever you can find. And probably going to put about maybe a cup. Cup should do it. And this just gives the potatoes some amazing flavor while they're boiling. And then the other little trick is we're going to be adding about a teaspoon of baking soda to the water. This is going to help break down that outside starch, which what it's going to do at the very end, it's going to create a very kind of like a milky, creamy flavor inside the potato. Oh, it's amazing, right? So those are the two tricks I want to tell you. The beef stock and the baking soda are huge to put into your water. All right, so we're going to let this come up to a boil. When we come back, we will add our potatoes. It's very important. Two things I want to do before we go to the next step here. The first is you want to make sure this comes up to a boil. All right. If you just put the potatoes in now, they're not a good way to go. So make sure your water comes up to a boil. The other thing is preheat your oven. We're going to roast. Remember, 3 things that create great food: time, temperature, and technique. Today, the technique is roasting, which means an oven. 425 degrees if you have a regular oven. If you have a convection oven, 400 degrees, okay? So preheat your oven, okay, and then get your liquid up to a boil, and then we'll add our potatoes. All right, so we're still waiting for this water to come up for a boil, our water and our beef stock. While we're waiting for that, here's what I want to do. I want to take our potatoes, and we're going to put them into stainless steel bowl like so. And we are going to season these pretty aggressively with salt and black pepper. Okay, like so. Want to get all nice and coated. And then put this up here. What I have here is I've melted 1/2 stick of unsalted butter. Okay, and I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and I'm going to add about a teaspoon of garlic or a clove, like so. Just mix that around like so. And then just a little bit of some dried chopped rosemary, not too much. We're going to save the rest for later. And we're going to pour these over our potatoes. Okay. Very, very simple. And then I have some regular old grated Parmesan cheese. Add that in here. Yeah, you know it's looking good, isn't it? Okay. And now, again, let's get these all coated, mixed in. Very, very simple. And you may think when it gets into this water, the Parmesan's gonna, fall off. Sure, it may a little bit, but really it's also getting inside of the potato. So a lot of these seasonings are going to adhere. So just believe me on this, okay? All right, so we've got, take a look here and see we're coming up to a boil. And we're just basically just going to, and you can do this step by step, but I like to, make sure you get away from yourself. I actually have to take, you can take the bottom rim of this bowl, you can almost put it into the water, and that way there's no splash, okay? So we're gonna let these boil completely until they are fork or knife tender. So what you do is basically just pull one out and you put it in a knife in there, and if it falls out, then we're ready to go to the oven. So let's give this about 5 to 10 minutes. We're gonna parboil these just 60 to 70% cooked, okay? Because the rest is gonna be finished in the oven. So not very long. So let's say 7 to 10 minutes maximum. But you do want to watch to make sure. If you overcook them, then you're into mashed potatoes. We don't want to do that. All right. So be right back. We'll take a knife. We will test the potato. We will make sure that they fall right out. Then we're ready for the next step. Be right back. All right. So come on in here. I've just turned the heat off, so the boil is down now. But these have been in for about 8 minutes. And let's just take one out. Just put it on right here on this little tray here. You want you to see, let's see. Yep, see, that's about 60 to 70% cooked. That's what we want. So what we'll do is we're going to drain these potatoes. Let's see if I've got a pot here. Drain the potatoes. All right, and then we're going to take the rest of them and put them inside this bowl. And from here, what we want to do is add a little bit more rosemary. And a little bit more Parmesan cheese. And this is what's called roughing them up. And this is a very important step. And I want to tell you, if you really want a beautiful roast, you want to kind of get into like almost like the, not quite mashed potato, but you want to get them kind of roughed up a little bit. Get all that starch. And you could use a spoon if you wanted with this. You see how they're all coming together? You see, you can see the outside of the bowl. All that starch is coming together. That's what we want. Beautiful. Oh, it smells amazing. And then what you do is just get a sheet pan, and then you just want to layer these out and try to get them to not touch one another as best you can. Perfect. And there you have it. And then we're going to put these in 425 degree oven. We're going to watch these probably for about 15 minutes. And then I'm going to open the oven up and I'm going to flip them. And then I'm going to let them go for another 20 to 25 minutes, okay? This process you have to watch. I don't know how your oven is calibrated, so make sure that you watch these potatoes, okay? You don't want to overcook them till they're burnt. But if you just let these go properly and flip them, the end result is so amazingly delicious. I cannot wait to show you and to taste them. We'll be right back. Stay right there. All right, they were in the oven 425. After about 12 minutes, I flipped them. I put them back in the oven for about another 25 minutes. Look at the end result here. Oh my goodness, look at this. Unbelievable. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what makes these so different and amazing. I know everyone watching has heard of that little so-called restaurant called McDonald's. And you probably have eaten their French fries in the past. Well, let me give you a little history story. Did you know that up until 1990, McDonald's actually cooked their French fries in beef tallow or beef fat, which most people don't know, and that's why they were so amazingly delicious. And then the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, came in and they said, nah, you can't do that. So they decided, okay, so what are we going to do? So what they did is that they actually decided to they took a flour mixture and some cornstarch, and they had some dried beef tallow powder, and that's what they use today. And they freeze dry that. They take the potato, they roll it into this mixture, and they freeze dry it, and then they ship that to all the restaurants and they fry it in that. So you get the same flavor. So a lot of people didn't know they changed or they had to change. They're frying now in vegetable oil versus beef tallow. So that's a little history lesson for you. So anyway, so here we go. And this is why these come out so amazingly delicious. And as I've told you guys before, it's all about time, temperature, and technique. The technique today was roasting. The time was total about 40 minutes, okay? The temperature was 400 degrees if you have a convection oven, 425 if you have a traditional oven. And you can learn all these things about the difference between roasting and frying and sauteing. You can learn what spices to use. Today we got dried rosemary. And I've got some chopped parsley. All of these things you can learn in my ebook, which is not a cookbook, it's an ebook. It teaches you the foundations of cooking, how to become a better cook and feel more confident in the kitchen. There's a there's a link in the description box below. Grab your ebook if you would like one. It truly will help you, I promise. All right, so let's get back. Let's take these here. Let's plate this up. Oh my goodness. You can. I want you to hear. Do you hear this? That is the sound of deliciousness. And like I said, these are so versatile. I mean, you could make these, like I said, for a brunch. They're delicious with some French toast or egg. And they're simple. Your biggest investment is time. Not very expensive at all. And so we have that here. Get this out of the way. And then now, we're just going to finish this up with a little bit of parsley to give some earthy flavor to it. A little bit more of the dried rosemary. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. And then a little bit of some Parmesan on top like that. Oh my Lord. We are in heaven. And I'm not even going for a fork today, folks. I'm going with my hands. Sometimes I think it's just good to get with your hands. Let's go in. Look at this. Oh my God. Look, you can see the milkiness in there. That's what that baking soda does. Look at that. Oh, so unreal. I can taste that extra boost of flavor from the beef, but you wouldn't know it's beef. You just say there's something there. That's that kind of like that umami extra. Woo, what's going on? Oh my gosh, these are so delicious. You could sit here and eat these all by themselves as a snack, actually. Look at the color. Wow. Look at that. Absolutely spectacular. So good. All right. The last thing I'll say before we get out of here. I know there are a couple of you people out there that are addicted to ketchup. All right. So just do me a favor. Just try one before you start all over, okay? Just try one. I know. The number one condiment in the world, I get it. I love ketchup as well. But these are unbelievable by themselves. And I want you to try one the way they are so you don't ruin this amazing, simple recipe that will have your mouth watering for more. I cannot wait to see you next week on the next episode of Chef Brian's Kitchen. I am Chef Brian. Thanks again for watching. And remember, as always, eat well and stay healthy.